methodologies incorporated a range of methods or techniques to carry out the major functions of a development project. The methodology and the methods included are described by the term structured. The structured refers to the fact that the techniques are instructions that are carefully drawn up, often step by step, with each step building upon the previous step. There are approaches in these structured methodologies, that is traditional structured methodologies and modern structured methodologies. The traditional structured methodologies are process oriented rather than data oriented. In this category of the methodologies, which include structural analysis, structural design, structured program, and flowchart, are the major ones. Let us discuss these methodologies. For example, some difference between traditional methodology and with respect to some modern structured methodology. If you take writing of the examination, writing with the pen in the booklet, that is traditional methodology. Structured modern methodology means online examination, writing on a computer in a stipulated time with some code given for that examination, and OTP comes after logging with our user ID and password. We will be completing that examination exactly up to that given time. That is the modern structured methodology. Means uses of technology in the modern methods like that. This can be applied to our industry in various domains. Structured analysis. Structured analysis is mainly used to top-down method for defining system input, process, and outputs. It is a logical model of information flow, partitioning a system into different parts that helps to manage the system development easily. In the structured analysis, the data flow diagrams is the primary tool to handle the system analysis and process. And relating to data flow diagrams, these below are all data flow diagrams. And data flow diagrams is the logical graphical representation of the data flow to from and within an information system and the process that transforms the data. The construction of data flow diagram uses the four type of symbols. That is the data flow symbol, arrow showing the flow of the data. It is clearly resembling in the screen. The process symbol, a rounded box or bubbles depicting process that transforms the data. This data store symbol, an open rectangle indicating where the data are stored. The external entry symbol as a rectangular square indicating the sources or destinations of the data. And relating to that, this is the flowchart diagram for data flow diagram of students admission process. Means to join in any college or school, what is the data flow diagram? That it is clearly resembling. Means accepted, rejected course enrollment, admission letter, course details, data, and registration. Next point is structured design. Structured design is software design discipline, but associated with the structured analysis and approaches. And structured design consisting of design rules and techniques. It is simple and reducing the time and efforts in the coding, debugging, and maintenance. The structured design is also known as a composite design, and relating to that composite design from time to time design or composite design, which are similar. Because the structured design principle is that a system should be designed from the top-down approach, and this design should consider the main functions of the program or system. Then break into sub-functions and further decompose each sub-function until the lowest level has been reached, and this process is formulated with the structured charts. And this is the example for a structured chart with the payroll system. Next point is relating to structured programming. Structured programming is also a top-down approach procedural system. It extends the principles of structured design to write the programs or design the system. Structured programming is a method of systematic organizing programs that simplifies control so that the design should be more understandable and modifiable. Structured programming is based on the principle of modularization. That means the structured chart represents the component module are represented in a box. Program can be divided into modules. Each of modules constitutes a logical unit that performs one or a small number of functions. Ideally, modules should be independent of each other. They should be interconnected so that they have only one entry and exist from their parent modules. They should share the data with a few other modules as possible. Means the structured programming has the below three basic control instructions. Means rules are instructions in a pattern format. While those are simple sequence, selection, and iteration. What is this simple sequence? It executes statements in the order in which they appear with control posing unconditionally from one statement to another statement. Means when we are writing a software program, the program should be written in a sequential form using the rules and regulation of that particular programming language. If it is a C programming or C++ programming, we can write a, or it is a Java programming, we can write a program in 120 lines for one project. Same program in Python language, Python programming language, we can complete it in a 10 lines. Means in 10 statements, we can complete of 120 statements of C++ or Java programming. That is the difference between sequential writing of a programming language with various types of programming languages. Next one is selection. It tests a condition and executes one of the two alternative instruments based on the results of the test. Condition R is tested. If R is true, then the start C is executed, and R is false, statement D is executed, and control the process to next statement. Means these are all the if condition, if else condition, nested if condition, nested if else condition. They're all rules and regulations in any programming language. Whether it is a normal programming language like object-oriented programming language like C++, Java, Python, etc. That is selection of the variables. Next point is iteration. It means the repeats the instruction as long as the results of constructions occurs. Condition S is tested. If S is true, statement is executed and control returned to S. If S is false, E is omitted, and the following diagram illustrates the control construction. And related to that, what are the limitations of the traditional methodology of relating to information system? Means what are the limitations are structured methodologies are slow and unresponsive to the today's fast changing business. The process is very linear. Structural analysis, structured design, and structured programming are interdependable and interchangeable elements. Therefore, it becomes delayed in the real aspect. Because of slow translate, it makes more costly and it is large system development process. Therefore, specification design and analyzed will often change due to longevity. It is a function oriented and it always depends on the data that transform from the different departments of the organization. There are all the following are limitations of traditional methodology of the information system, and related to that, very important one is it is a function oriented and helpful for system development process, and it is very slow to translate and it consisting of some structured methodology. And what are the different modern tools and methodology for effectiveness? First one is object-oriented development. Object-oriented development is a part of modern approach to system development. It is differed with the traditional structured analysis and design methodology. The traditional approach first viewed the system terms of what is to do and when develops the model of procedure, but object-oriented development de-emphasized procedures that are combining of the business process and data into objects. The objects are defined, programmed, documented, and saved for use with the future applications. The object-oriented development claim that objects can be more easily understood by users than the traditional system of development because the object-oriented analysis and object-oriented design are based on the objects and more closely to the real world, which describes a system in terms of input, output, and data flows. Means it's a continuous flow-oriented diagram with respect to the object-oriented development cycle. Means a good example for object-oriented development life cycle means writing a program in C++ programming language or Java or Python programming language. For example, It is a semiconductor design related project. To manufacture a chip, we have to design a product. That product designing program can be written in C++, which is a object oriented programming, and that will have some development life cycle, software or system development life cycle. Already we discussed in the previous session. And what are the benefits with this one is it directly addresses the issue. Therefore, it can reduce the time and cost of system development. Object-oriented approach depends on the specific objects. Therefore, it is reusable. Object-oriented approach develops the reusable component library. Therefore, it can save valuable time and cost. And developers, users, and information system professionals use iteration of rapid prototyping to design the system. Object-oriented approach should increase the involvement of users. Users may find objects easier to understand and more natural to work with than traditional system methods. And obstacles. Even though object-oriented system development is an exploiting tool, it is still in the infancy and unproven for most companies to adopt it because of the following reasons. Majority of the companies are hesitant to try to it because it requires extensive staff training. This methodology is reorientation, therefore it is time taken and cost effective. To implement this methodology, the organization should have its own information system department to retain expertise and follow up. New technology needs to be developed for the use of this method, and object-oriented programming depends on the data dictionaries for sharing the structured data and program codes. These are all the benefits and obstacles relating to object-oriented development lifecycle or programming lifecycle. Next concept is case tool methodology. Computer-aided system engineering is also called as computer-aided software engineering. It is the automation of the step-by-step methodology for software and system development. And CASE, case methodology of the system development, is useful to the most of the user for more creative problem-solving tasks. Case tools can facilitate creation of clear documents and coordination of team development. Many case tools are microcomputer based with powerful graphical capabilities, and it is about to produce the automated graphics facilitate for producing charts and diagrams. Screen and request generators, data dictionaries, extensive report facilities, analysis and checking tools, code generators, and document generators. Case tools are based on one and more of the popular structured methodologies. Some are client or server applications, and some of the important aspects of case tools are in the following lines. The design and development should have more integrity. Software and development teams should be coordinated with each other. Organizing and correlating design components properly. Automating the analysis and design, and automating testing and controlling. What are the key elements of case tool method? The following are the key elements. Programming tools with diagrams. These are the different types of diagrams associated with a certain methodology. These diagrams are graphic tools, data flow diagrams, structured charts, or ER diagrams, and so on. Previously, we discussed in the previous class related to ER diagrams. Next one is syntax verification. It verifies the accuracy and completeness of information entered into the system. And prototyping tools, this also we discussed in the previous session. It is like screen, report, and menu generators that allows the analyst to use it without complex formatting and programming. Information repository, it is central database information. The repository coordinates, integrates, and standardizes the different pieces of information for future use. Next point is code generators. Case tools develop various icons to indicate various programs and translate these symbols into programs. Development methodology. Case develops the checklist and entire development methodologies to hold the users. Project management tools. Case and tools integrates with various project management tools such as project scheduling, resource estimation, and routing. Means in PMP, project management program, we will have all these basic concepts, particularly which we discussed right now. And this is the components of case tools. This is a flowchart diagram. And what are the different merits and demerits of case tools? Automate many manual tasks of the system development, promote standardization based on the single methodology, promote greater consistency and coordination during development project, generate the large portion of the documents for system such as DFD, data model, and structured charts and other specifications. Next point is demerits of case tools. Automatically provides functional relevant system. It is just as easy to produce a base system. Interface easily with database and fourth generation languages. Automatically force analysts to use prescribed methodology or creates methodology when one does not exist. Radically in transformation system analysis and design process. Next point is software engineering. Software engineering is a methodology that addresses the problems of aging software. This methodology uses without structural analysis, design, and programming. The reengineering process creates a new system without starting from scratch. Reengineering involves three steps as below: reverse engineering, revision of design, and forward engineering. And reverse engineering entails extracting the underlying business specifications from exercising the system. Orderly, non-structured systems do not have structured documentation to clarify the system design or the programs. This is the diagram for reverse engineering process. Revision old design and programs use the specifications using the structured documentation to meet the current business requirements. They're taking old ones and giving some remuneration or new ones. In the final step, forwarding engineering, the revised specifications are used to generate new structured code for a structured and maintainable system. And what are the benefits of reengineering? It allows the company to develop a modern system at much lower cost. The newly reengineering system will reflect current business requirements and it will be flexible to change. During the revision phase of the project, the technology of the state system can also be upgraded and it allows the developers to eliminate redundancy. Means to eliminate the redundancy and to make some revision of the project and where particularly in the industrial domain, it is used for re-engineering. That is very important concept, re-engineering. And demerits are, it is very complex. That is the major one. And the next topic which we are going to discuss is block 4. Very, very important. Management of MIS. Means fourth unit. That one, implementation of MIS. In the first class itself, we discussed it. Taking decision making is very easy. By implementation is not that much easy. And who are implementing correctly, thoroughly, by following corporate morals, values, ethics, they'll be sustaining in this competitive business environment for longer time and sometimes longer generations also, like Tata Group, Birla Group, etc. The purpose and importance of MIS is studied in the previous chapters. Now, in this chapter, the various ways to implement MIS in organizations and the evaluation techniques to know MIS is implemented successfully or not will not be verified. Management has developed since the time when the world became into existence. The rich history of the management made is resourceful, varied, and multidimensional. Management is transcended from time to time, depending on the prevalent philosophies. Hence, a large variety of concepts emanated in the field of management from classical and neoclassical to modern. Again, we are making that into three categories. In this competitive global environment, there is huge demand for MIS and also organizations are making their operational, tactical and strategic processes in a more efficient and effective manner. A group of components is an information system, increases the competitiveness and gain better information for decision making. Consequently, many organizations decide to implement information system in order to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of their organizations. For a long now, information system has been playing an important role in the e-business and e-commerce operations, enterprise collaborations, management and strategic success for their business concerns. Next diagram is five components of information system. Very, very important for examination point of view. As it is, we have to buy it for the examination. Hardware, software, data, processes, and people. There is total integration known as a information system. Implementation of system is much important as the creation of it. Implementation requires technical and managerial skills. Implementation is also a process that has a series of sequential steps which culminates in making operational the new system. Implementation as an activity has to be carefully managed. It requires client interaction at every stage. The implementers need the full support and cooperation of the client and the information system department functionaries to successfully execute the implementation of information systems. Now to help them performance this task of implementation smoothly, a series of predefined steps are followed. And what are the implementation steps? This information system implementation process concept is similar to a five-step process called as a information systems development cycle, which include the steps investigation, analysis, design, implementation, and maintenance. The other approaches also exist in the implementation of MIS, which include direct approach, direct the installation of the new system with immediate discontinuance of the old existing system, which is referred as the cold turnkey approach. This approach becomes useful when these factors are considered. The new system suitably replaces the existing system. Old system is regarded as absolutely no value. New system is compact and simple. Thus, design of new system is inexpensive with more advantages and less risk involved. Next concept is parallel approach. The selected new system is installed and operated with current system. This method is expensive because of duplicating facilities and personnel to maintain both the system. It owns approach a target data it must be cleared when the operations of old system cease and the new one will operate is one to its own of that particular approach. Next one is modular approach. This is generally recognized as pilot approach, means the implementation of system in the organization on a piecemeal basis. This approach has the following merits. The risk of system failure is localized. The major problem can be easily identified and corrected before further implementation. Operating personnel can be trained before system which is installed as a location. Phase in implementation approach. Next method. This approach is similar to modular method, but it differs because of segmentation of system. However, not the organization. It has advantages and the rate of changes in the given organization can be totally minimized and the box and the data processing resource can be acquired gradually over a period of time. System exhibits certain disadvantages such as limited applicability, more cost incurred to develop interface with old system, and a feeling in the organization that system is never completed. Next concept is organizing the MS department. Means, for example, any company is there, Infosys company is there, HR department will be there, marketing and finance, customer service, operations management, and investment management, like that. A number of departments will be there. In that one department also is there with the MIS department. The MIS department will be the custodian of the new system Hence, they have to be geared up to support the new system. Organizations of the department is therefore necessary before for the new system becomes operational. The roles of each member of the MIS department has to be of the MIS staff is understood by each member, and each member of the organization. Training is provided to those who need the training on the new system so that they can turn up and implement starts. This enables the MIS staff to provide support to the implementation team when the implementation process starts. This will also help the MIS staff to understand the nitty-gritty of the new system, and they will be able to remain able to get a hands-on experience in the implementation of the new system. MIS has been described as a pyramidal structure with four levels of information resources. The levels of information would depend upon the organizational structure. The top level supports strategic planning and policy making at the highest level of management. The second level of information resource aid, tactical programming and decision making the management control. The third level supports day-to-day operations and control. The bottom level consisting of information for transaction processing. Means already we made in the previous classes related to transactional processing that can be done using this method. Next one is selection procurement of hardship with hardware. The step of the implementation process is an implementation process is an important step in its huge investments. Proper care is taken to ensure that the organization gets the best deal from such selection and the procurement of the hardware. The process of selection and procurement of hardware also varies greatly from time to time, firm to firm, depending on the size of the firm and the sensor in which it depends upon the operates the types of management. However, the following procedure is followed. Preparation of vendor. The list of vendors may be prepared after analyzing the vendor management experience of the organization with the different vendors or may be prepared based on some accepted list of vendors in their business space prepared by some of the organization of repute as some industry regulatory body. The vendors are also selected to be part of the list or chosen those carefully after thorough checking of their credentials and goodwill in the market. Means any persons will maintain the goodwill in the market. It is very important to sustain the competitive business environment. This is essential as the vendor relationship is based on the trust and compromise and not only on the basis with respect to the strict commercial aims. Next point is preparation of requests for proposals. The implementation team must prepare the RFP document based on their understanding of the hardware requirements of the new system. The preparation request for proposal must have complete technical details about the required hardware systems, including specifications, format, performance expectation, and warranty, and service quality requirements. This document is prepared by the implementers in consultation with the development team, management of the organization, and the MIS team of the organization so that the need for each specification is well established and there is no scope for any difference of opinion. The consultative process results in the ERP, which has a technical in consultation with the management of the organization. The RFP is a quasi-legal document. In some countries, it is not considered also. And proper legal opinion is normally stated normally relating to straight line method, which is making for quasi-legal document in some countries, and proper legal opinion is normally sought before sending it to the enlisted vendors. And next one is request for bids proposal to select. Vendors after the RFE is prepared, it is sent by some mode of communication to the enlisted set of vendors. The communication medium can be an open advertisement and print or electronic media, or maybe in the form of a letter to the vendors with a deadline for submission of the proposal. And evaluation of the RFP. In this, it is difficult process. After bids are received before the deadline, they are checked for basic errors. Those found to be a prima facie proper are then evaluated. Several methods of evaluation exist. The evaluation could be on the basis of cost alone or quality alone, or maybe mix of both cost and quality. Always remember, and in business domain, to manufacture a product low cost with high quality and high production. That's the basic philosophy or concept in business environment. Typically, a score-based system of evaluation is used to rank the vendors' proposals. Scores are assigned to each attribute of vendor's proposal like cost, goodwill, track record, and service quality, which is guaranteed. Based on the weight age given in to each attribute, a composite score is prepared, which is used to evaluate the proposals. Whatever the methodology for evaluating the proposal, one must take care to apply the same evaluation criteria to all proposals. Different yardsticks should be not be applied to different proposals. Selection of a vendor, it is based on the evaluation of a single vendor or a select set of vendors are chosen for delivery of hardware. Contract negotiations and price negotiations are held with this select group of vendors, and following successful completion of the negotiations, the final contract will be signed. And how to make procurement of the software. The new system being implemented will have been created based on assumptions of operating environment of the organization. Procurement of system software is done on similar lines as the procurement of hardware. The only difference in the case of procurement of software is that the choice of what software to purchase is already made at the design stage of the system development, and hence the RFP preparation process is straightforward. The implementation team will not be prepare the specification for the system software. The only need to procure the system software that the new system is designed to be run. The rest of the process is almost similar to the hardware process also, and that can be part of a procurement system. Development and implementation of MIS. This plan consisting of various system and subsystems. The development strategy determines where to begin and in what sequence the development can take place with the sole objective of assuring the information support. The choice of the system or the subsystem depends on its position into total MIS plan, the size of the system, the user's understanding of the system, and the complexity and its interface with the other systems. The designer first develops systems independently and starts integrating them with other systems, enlarging the system scope and meeting the varying information needs. Determining the position of the system in the MIS is easy. The real problem in the further stage only done with structure and formulation in the system and the procedures which determine the timing and duration of the development of the system. Higher the degree of structure and formalization, greater is the stabilization of the rules. The procedures, decision making, and understanding of the overall business activity, hence, is observed with respect to users and the designers interaction is smooth and their needs are clearly understood and respected mutually. The development becomes a methodology of approach with certainty in the input process and the outputs. Next one is prototype approach. When the system is complex and development strategy is prototyping of the system. Prototyping is a process of progressively ascertaining the information needs, developing methodology, trying it on a smaller scale with respect to the data and the complexity, ensuring that it satisfying the needs of all the users and assesses the problem of development and implementation. This definition of prototyping which the process of progressively ascertaining information needs, developing a methodology and trying it to out in a smaller scale with respect to the data and the complexity during the it satisfies the needs of the users and assesses the problems of the development and implementation. This process therefore identifies the problem areas, inadequacies in the prototype visa is the fulfillment of the information needs. The designer then takes steps to remove the inadequacies. This may call upon changing the prototype of the system positioning, the information needs, the streamlining operation system and procedures and I move their interaction. In the prototyping approach, the designer's task becomes difficult when there are simple users of the same system and the inputs they use are used by some other users as well. For example, a lot of input data comes from the purchasing department, which is used in the accounts and inventory management. Like that, mutual understanding is there with respect to prototyping concept. The attitudes of various users and their role as the originators of the data need to be developed within a high degree of positivism. It therefore requires of all personnel to appropriate that the information is a corporate resource and all have to contribute as per the designated role by the designer to fulfill the corporate information needs. When it comes to the information, the functional and departmental, the personal boundaries do not exist. This can all help upon the individual to comply within the design needs and provide without fail the necessary data inputs whenever required as per the instructions discussed and finalized by the designer. Bringing the multiple users on the same platform and changing their attitudes towards the information as a corporate resource in the managerial task of the system designer. The qualification, experience, knowledge of the state of the art, and an understanding of the corporate business helps considerably in overcoming the problem of changing the attitudes of the multiple users and the originators of the data. Next point is life cycle approach. There are many systems and subsystems in the MIS which have a life cycle, that is they have birth and death. Their emergence may be sudden or may be a part of the business need, and they are very much structured and rule based. They have 100% clarity of inputs and their sources, a definite set of outputs in terms of the contents and formats. These details more or less remain static from the day the system emerges and remains in the static mode for a long time. Minor modifications or changes do occur, but they are not significant in terms of handling over by the designer or by the user of the system. Such systems therefore have a life and they can be developed in a systematic manner and can be reviewed after a year or two with significant modifications. Currently, the chart showing the life cycle approach to the development of MIS in that one system application, feasibility, information requirement analysis, conceptual design. Physical design system specific programs to install the system, conduct awareness and training, operate the system, review the audit. Examples of such a system are payroll, share accounting, basic financial accounting, finished goods accounting, and dispatching, order processing, and so on. These systems have a fairly long duration of survival and they attribute with contribution in a big way as sources of data to be corporate MIS. Therefore, their role is important and needs to be designed from the viewpoint as an interface to the corporate MIS. Means here, relating to our corporate MIS, the company called with respect to procurement of software. What is the company name? With respect to making some change with respect to visibility of the system means if the management approves the recommendation of the report, the development process can continue in any organization. Creating the database, the new system to be implemented will have data source. In modern system, data stores are databases. These include our relational database managing systems, which is a separate application software package. The database has to be created and structures inside the database have to be made rules so that the application system being implemented can be plugged into the database and start working. The next step is system implementation is the development of a program to retain the operating personnel in the organization in the view new tasks assigned to them and intensive training to given to the first line supervisors to make them acquired within the new MIS system and to enable them to operate it in the future. Training should also be provided to the professional support personnel who provide inputs them into direct other in their jobs. Moreover, training should be provided to the operational personnel like computer operators, clerks, file maintenance personnel, etc. Next point is main training of the users. Implementation is a large issue than installation. In the previous class also, we discussed related to installation. The new system get installed, but without proper training of users, it may not be of good use. Implementation is a larger concept and focuses on the installation and hand-holding part of the transition process. A training needs assessment is done due to understand the training needs of users. A training program is planned and the requirement training given to the users. This is an important part of the implementation process and helps in reducing the resistance to change related behavior among the user community. The training also helps users to appreciate in the new features of the new system and helps it to build a trustworthy and application for the new system. Next point is creating physical infrastructure. The new system being implemented may require a physical infrastructure. The implementation can make ensure that the system performance must not be suffer due to infrastructure bottlenecks. The implementers will have to use their persuasive skills and convince the management of the organization to create the required physical infrastructure company so that it does not affect the performance of the new system. Next point is transition to this new system. This is the last step in the implementation process. The transition if done wrongly leads to a lot of pain and it is not necessary to move strategically move on the computer screen. Therefore, slowly when the users gain much more capability to handle the new system with respect to old system, which is phased out or passionate out. Next concept is techniques to evaluate management information system. 3 to 6 months after implementation of the management information system, it should be evaluated so that it can judge whether the cost incurred in its implementation is less than it benefits derived from it, and also if it satisfies the needs of the persons using it. If it is not satisfactory methods, I thought, and not satisfactory steps should be taken to make more effective and usable. The evaluation process should recognize and control the critical areas of an information system project before structuring and the evaluation criteria and methods and deciding who would be involved in the information evaluation. It is essential to recognize all the relevant interest groups for the information system pilot and system development process and the information system procurement process. Information technology has immense significance in business and other fields, and a huge amount of money is being spent on this globe, and it is necessary to evaluate the outcome of information system in order to direct the process of management information in systems in the right direction. The activity of evaluation provides the Supervision evaluation is considered to be undertaken as a matter of course in the attempt to gauge how well something meets a particular expectation or observed or need, particularly from methodologies. Particularly from management point of view, the methodologies will describe that information system evaluation to be the activity of establishing by quantitative or qualitative means the worth of IT to the organization. The consequence of such an assessment can then be used in the decisions of worth of IT to the organization. The consequence of such an assessment can then be used in the decisions of the organization when amazing that information system throughout the life cycle of an information system organization has to take implemented decisions. The most obvious of which are go non-go investment decisions. Evaluation can serve many purposes, and these purposes reveal themselves in the evaluation by either formative or summative. In formative evaluation, the organization evaluates in order to increase the performance, focusing on the future. Summative evaluations are easily summative evaluation are exclusively executed to observe the quality of past performance. Thus, any evaluation should consist of monitoring and forecasting aspect. Evaluation of information system performs means evaluation of performance pertaining to hardware, software, and computer networks, and data and human resources. These are all very much important relating to requirement of evaluation of image. Next point is the main object of information system functionality performances. Evaluation is upgrading and especially improvement in quality of maintenance. Information system evaluation is not a simple task. Instead, it is a difficult process that involves a variety of dimensions and various stakeholders. Information system investment often are intangible benefits, and the benefits are making Sunak as present Prime Minister of Britain means relating to that uses of information system in elections, the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is able to win the elections. Like that, utilization of information system with respect to hardware, software, computer networks, data, human resources plays a major role in day-to-day work environment. Ad hoc practices of information system evaluation are normally reported, and simple processes such as payback period are used in the evaluation. Evaluation is an intricate process, and consequently, there are a lot of sessions how far to evaluate IT system. The interpretive approaches of IT system often use a data science social systems that have information technology embedded into it. Words are given proclaimed the evolution of the IT with reference to financial terms may be biased toward the most easily may biased benefits and prone to manipulation to justify predetermined investment decisions, resulting in systematic or underinvestment in ID. Some contingency models to select evaluation methods for information system investments have been described in a theoretical literature. At organizational level, contingency factors may include the industry situation and the leadership include contingency factors may include the project types, project sizes, and the type of expected benefits, the stages of the system's life cycle, and development and procurement strategy. And what are the different evaluation techniques? Very important for examination point of view. And there are three types of strategic for information system evaluation that include goal-based evaluation. Goal-based evaluation means the explicit goals from the organization context drive the evaluation. These goals are not used to manage IT system According to pattern, goal-based evaluation is described as measuring the extent to which a program or invention has attained with intervention attained clear and specific objectives. The focus is on intended services and outcomes of a program. The goals, good ETL, asserted that the evaluation should be measurable and the evaluation should meet the requirement specification. Many critics disproved this method because such evaluation concentrated on technical and economic aspects rather than human and social aspect. Further, these theorists further argued that this can have major negative consequences in value. The the basic strategies of this approach is to measure if predefined goals are fulfilled or not, to what extent and in what ways. This approach are well quantitative approach and goal pre-evaluation method. The goal pre-evaluation method means that no such explicit goals are used. Goal-free evaluation is an inductive and situational driven strategy. The major objective of this interpretive evaluation is to gain thorough understanding of the nature of what is to be evaluated and to create motivation and commitment. The involvement of array of stakeholder groups is often considered essential to this approach of evaluation. Pattern 1990. This use the terms goal-free evaluation. Goal-free evaluation is elaborated as collecting data on the broad array of actual effects and evaluating the importance of each evaluation of each collecting data on a broad array of actual effects and evaluating the importance of these effects in meaning of demonstrated needs. Next method is criteria-based evaluation. Criteria-based evaluation means the same explicit, some explicit general criteria are used in an evaluation yardstick. There are numerous criteria based on what criteria-based evaluation means that some explicit general criteria are used in an evaluation of yardstick. There are numerous. In this approach, the IT system interface, the interaction with users and IT system acts as a basis for evaluation regarded to the system of predefined criteria. Next point is recommended a three-step process for information system evaluation. That is intangible benefits evaluation, information system investment risk analysis, and tangible benefits evaluation. The steps should be taken in this order. That is intangible benefits and the risks should be evaluated prior to evaluating the tangible benefits. The success of information system development category is placed prior to this success of information system usefulness, since the usefulness can only be observed after the information system has been used for a while. Preferably, information system evaluation would all include the categories, but the focus of evaluation is different depending on who conducts the evaluation and where the initiative for the evaluation comes from. According to Farbe, the focus of evaluation changes according to organizational interests, which may be on a number of levels, such as cost, benefit, organizational competitiveness, and original relations. With respect to the industrial environment, means here it is argued that whether the organization's interests are taken into consideration appropriately depends on the knowledge and skills of the evaluator. Therefore, the senior management should be cautiously consider who should be involved in the evaluation. The result of the evaluation should be derived to each person who is associated with the project so that the information received from the evaluation can be employed in the decision making phase. most likely the decision itself would be continuing with the investment, changing the specifications, range or implementation method of the system, or freezing the project. In addition, the changes might include schedule changes, reorganization of the project, or dealer changes. Major reasons for these changes may be apparent mistakes, unanticipated problems, a new experience about the project that changes the idea of the right course of action, or changes in the company's environment that are beyond the company's control. Evaluating the success of an information system implementation should consider at least two dimensions such as the process and the product success. Evaluating the conduct of the information systems development process would enable the learning for future projects. The project with the product achievement includes both the information system functionality and the realizations of the expected benefit from the information systems investment. And the following are the parameter values can consider for evaluating information systems, system quality, user information and quality, usage and user satisfaction, and individual impact and organizational impact. That's why only a consumer is called as a king. Next concept is maintenance of MIS. An enterprise MIS data is very valuable asset. It is therefore essential that MIS provide adequate mechanisms for reducing the chances of its software database failure and suitable procedures for recovery when the system does fail due to software or a hardware problem. These procedures are called backup and recovery techniques. In this session, we will learn various backup and recovery techniques, memory management techniques to handle use database and also MS argumenting futures. This is very important. Data recovery techniques, data memory management techniques, and data handling techniques. At the end of the chapter, we will also learn how to integrate the existing MIS to new system based on the goals. Next point is backup and recovery techniques. Backup and recovery. Backup and recovery describe the process of creating and sorting copies of data that can be used to protect organizations against data loss. This is sometimes referred to as an operational recovery. Recovery from a backup typically involves restoring the data to the original location or to an alternate location where it can be used in place of lost or damaged data. A proper backup copy is stored in a separate system or medium, such as tape, from the primary data to protect against the probability with possibility of data lost due to primary hardware or software failure. An MIS software failure may occur due to power failures, operating system or input errors, hardware failure or other causes. Next point is backup techniques. What are these backup techniques? Very important, and your project will be total done by this backup techniques in fourth semester. A system failure may be classified as a soft fail or hard fail. Soft fail is a more common failure involving only the loss of information and in the volatile storage. A hard fail usually occurs less frequently but is harder to recover from since it may involve loss or corruption of information stored on the disk. Disk storage is often called non-volatile storage because the information stored on a disk survives system crashes like a processor and power failure. Non-volatile storage may be destroyed by users like a head crash, but the happens on infrequently. A party of the software database needs to be resident in the main memory. Memory management is a volatile storage because the contents of such storage are lost within a power failure. Given that a software database on a disk may also be lost, it is desirable to have a copy of the software database stored in what is called stable storage. Therefore, it is assumed to be reliable and unlikely to lose information. With any type of system failures, no media like disk or tape can be considered states. Only if selected, the person will be taking a care. Means The disaster recovery capabilities will not be described without careful design and testing. Next topic is types of backup. Backup applications have long offered several types of backup operations. The most the most common backup types are full backup, incremental backup, and indifferential backup. Other backup types include synthetic full backups. Synthetic backup, and other backup includes synthetic full backups, mirroring, reverse incremental, and continuous data protection. And next one is full backup. The most basic and complete type of backup operation is full backup. As the name implies, this type of backup makes a copy of all data to another set of media, which can be tape, disk, or DVD or CD. The primary advantage is performing a full backup during every operation is that a complete copy of all data is available with a single set of media. This results in a minimal time to restore data, a metric known as the recovery time objective. However, the disadvantages are that it takes longer to perform a full backup than other types. Thus, full backups are typically run only periodically. Data centers that have a small amount of data may choose to run a full backup daily or even more often in some cases. Typically, backup operations employ a full backup in combination with their incremental or differential backups. Incremental backup, an incremental backup operation will result in copying only the data that has changed since the last backup operation of any type. The modified time stamp on files is typically used and compared to the timestamp of the last backup. Backup applications track and record the date and time that backup operations occur in order to track files modified since these operations. Because an incremental backup will only copy data since last backup only of any type, it may be run as often as desired with only the most recent changes stored. The benefit of an incremental backup is that they copy a smaller amount of data than in full. Thus, these operations will complete faster and require less media to store the backup. Means differential backups, a differential backup operation is similar to an incremental the first time it is performed. In that way, in that way, it will copy all the data changed from the previous backup. However, each time it is run afterwards, it will continue to copy all data changed since the previous full backup. Thus, it store more data than an incremental or subsequent operations, although typically far less than a full backup. Moreover, differential backups require more space and time to complete than incremental backups, although less than full backups. For organizations with small data sets, running a daily full backup provides a high level of protection without much additional storage space cost. Larger organizations or those with more data find that running a weekly full backup coupled with either daily incremental or differentials provides a better option. Using differentials provides a higher level of data protection with less restore time or most scenarios with a small increase in storage capacity. For this reason, using a strategy of weekly full backups with daily differential backups is a good option for many organizations. Most of the advanced backup options such as synthetic full mirror, reverse incremental, and CDP require disk storage as the backup target. A synthetic full simply reconstructs the full backup image using all required incremental or differential on disk. This synthetic full may then be stored to tape of for offsite storage, with the advantages being reduced to restoration time. Mirroring is copying of disk storage to another set of disk storage with reverse incremental used to add incremental tape of backup support. Finally, CDP allows a greater number of restoration points than traditional backup options. Means these are all some of the concepts related to backup options, and particularly you will take backup for any software project completed in IT companies. Previously in tapes, backup tapes. Now with several new technology related software tools and techniques also, they're taking the backup with respect to database storage, and now they are able to make some development related to taking of backup related to MIS applications also. And what are the some of the recovery techniques? Recovery from a failure is possible only if the DBMS maintains redundant data, including data about what users have been doing. To be able to recover from failures like a disk head crash, a backup copy of the database must be kept in a safe place. A proper design of recovery system would be based on clear assumptions of the types of failures expected and the probabilities of those failures occurring. Of course, we assume that the recovery process will restore the database to a consistent state as close to the time of failure as possible. But this depends on the type of failure and the type of recovery information that the database maintains. If proper example, the disk on which the database was stored is damaged, the recovery process can only store the database to the state where it was lost or queued. Means most modern database systems are able to recover from a software fail by system restart, which makes only a few seconds or minutes. A hard fail requires rebuilding of the database on the disk using one or more backup copies. This may take minutes or even hours depending on the type of the failure of the size of the database. We should not note that no set of recovery procedure can cope up with the failures, and there will also be situations when complete recovery may be impossible. This may happen if the failure results in corruption of some part of the database as well as loss or corruption of redundant data that has been saved for recovery. We note that recovery requirements in different database environments are likely to be different. For example, in banking or in airline reservation system, it would be requirement that the possibility of losing information due to a system failure be made very small. On the other hand, loss of information in a inventory database may not be quite so critical. Very important database may require fault-tolerant hardware that may be, for example, involve maintaining one or more duplicate copies of the database coupled with suitable recovery procedures. The component of DBMS that deals with recovery is often called as a recovery manager. And what are the different causes of data loss? Cause, example, and percentage. Hardware system problems with respect to disk drive crashes, electrical outages of power surges, manufacturer defects, that is 45%. Human errors, accidental deletions, overwriting files causing trauma to desktop or laptop, 33%. Software corruption or application error. Application displays an error message when a document is opened. Installing or removing a program corrupts another 12%. Computer viruses, MyDoom, that is 6%, and natural disasters, fires, floods, lightning, and earthquakes, 4%. Data recovery. The majority of data loss situations are recoverable, and computer storage systems may fail, but the data storages on them is not always completely lost. There are occasions when damage to data is permanent and complete data recovery is not possible. However, some data is usually always recoverable. Data recovery professionals can recover data from crashed hard drivers with the drives and means hard disk drives like that, operating systems, storage devices, servers, desktops, and laptops. So many computer peripherals. Using various proprietary data recovery tools and techniques, it is a general thing, everybody knows it. And the data recovery is a process of retrieving deleted or inaccessible data from formatted, deleted, and damaged or corrupted secondary storage devices. To salvage the data, there are various techniques available to overcome physical and logical errors in the storage devices. These techniques require extra software and hardware for accessing repairing, and reconstructing the affected storage media for successful data recovery. Data recovery techniques are categorized into two major categories based on the type of damage and accessibility loss to the storage device. They are logical data recovery, and when an error is not a problem related to the hardware and can be solved with the help of software solutions, it is referred to as logical data recovery. Logical damage to the hard drive causes corruption and makes the drive and the data inaccessible. In such cases, we need to perform logical data recovery. Some types of logical damage scenarios are damaged, formatted, or deleted partition. Cases where hard disk becomes unreadable is usually caused by a damage to the partition table and file system due to bad sectors that develop during a hard drive usage. When a hard drive goes bad or bad sectors deleted, it is better to take out the hard disk from the system and connect it to the another system in read-only mode. The same goes for other storage devices such as thumb drives, SD cards, and stop using the storage media immediately to avoid permanent data loss. Use a reliable data recovery tool such as Stellar Data Recovery Professional for Windows to salvage your lost data. The tool can help you recover data from inaccessible, corrupt, and formatted storage media. Additionally, it lets you to recover data from a partially burnt or scratched optical media, that is a CD drive or DVD drive or HD drive or HD DVD drive or Blu-ray, whatever may be the peripheral. Overwritten data. When a file is deleted from the Windows operating system, the deleted files are considered as free by the system. So when you install a program or copy a file to your system, it overwrites the lost files and makes recovery impossible. Therefore, when you face a data loss situation, stop using your system or hard drive to prevent further damage to the lost or deleted data. That is a general concept. Solid state drives work differently. To recover from SSDs is easier if trim wasn't enabled on your system. Trim commands makes data recovery hard, and most software-based recovery process fails to recover complete data from SSDs. Next point is tips for data recovery. Do back up your data frequently. If you believe that there is something wrong with your computer, shut it down. Do not continue to power up because you may do more damage. If you hear clunk clunk sound when you power up the drive, shut down, don't panic, nor turn the power button on and off. Package the drive properly. When you send it to the data recovery specialist, you can cause additional damage to the hard drive if it is poorly packaged. Do not ever assume that data recovery is impossible even in the worst cases, such as natural disasters. Data recovery specialists have been able to retrieve valuable data. Never remove the cover from the hard drive. This only cause further damage. Do not rest your computer on a mobile object or piece of furniture. Shock and vibration can result in serious damage to the hard drive. Do not subject the drive to extreme temperature changes, both hot and cold. In the case where a drive has been exposed to water, fire, or even smoke, do not try to power up. Means these are relating to all data recovery. And now relating to memory management. Computer memory is a physical device capable of storing information temporarily like RAM or permanently like a ROM. Memory devices utilizes integrated circuits and are used by operating systems, software, and hardware. Computer memory is required when a program such as your internet browser is open and it is loaded from your hard drive and placed into RAM, which allows that program is to communicate with the processor at a higher speeds. Anything you save to computer such as a picture or video, it is sent to your hard drive for storage. Memory important are needed for a computer because each device in a computer operates at different speeds, and computer memory gives your computer a place or quickly access data. If the CPU had to wait for a secondary storage device like a hard disk drive, a computer would be much slower. Means examples of secondary storage devices are hard disk drive, solid state drive, USB thumb drive, SD card, CD and DVD, floppy diskette, tape drive. They're all examples of storage devices. You have to remember by heart these devices. Hard disk drive, solid state drive, USB thumb drive, SD card, CD, DVD, floppy diskette, tape drive, etc. Clear and a hard disk drive is a non-volatile memory hardware device that permanently stores and retrieves data on a computer. A computer drive is secondary storage device that consisting of one or more patterns which has written using a magnetic head all inside of an air-sealed casing. Internal hard disk reside in a hard drive bay with connected to the motherboard using an ATA SCSI SATA cable and are powered by a connection to the PSU. All computers have a hard drive installed in them, which is used to store files for the operating system, software programs, and users' personal files. A computer cannot function without a hard drive installed as it requires one to the function properly. Short of solid state drive is a storage medium that uses non-volatile memory as a means of holding and accessing data. Unlike a hard drive, an SSD has no moving parts, which gives it advantages such as faster access time, noiseless operation, higher reliability, and lower power consumption. The picture shows an example of an SSD made by Crucial flash drive. Alternatively, referred to as a USB flash drive, data stick, pen drive, memory unit, keychain drive, and thumb drive. A jump drive is a portable storage device. It is often the size of a human thumb and connects a computer via USB port. Flash drives are easy way to store and transfer the information between computers and range in sizes of 2 GB to 1 terabyte. Unlike a standard hard drive, the flash drive has no movable parts. It contains only an integrated circuit memory chip that is used to store data. Flash drives usually have plastic or aluminum casings surrounding the memory chip. The picture shows a SanDisk Cruiser micro 16 GB flash drive. This is total description of that peripheral. Next one is SD card, short for secure digital card. SD card is one of the more common types of memory cards used with electronics. The SD technology is used by over 400 brands of electronic equipment and over 8,000 different models, including digital cameras and cell phones. It is considered the industry standard due to the wide use. Types of SD cards. The three versions of SD card, along with their physical dimensions, are SD 32 into 24 into 2.1, mini SD 21.5 to 20 into 1.4, micro SD 15 into 11 into 1.0. Compact disc. Next one is abbreviated as CD. A compact disc is a flat, round optical storage medium invented by James Russell. The first CD was created at a Philips factory in Germany in August 17, 1982. The picture is an example for the bottom of a standard compact disc and the side the disc player reads. The opposite side of the disc has a label to help indicate what is on the disc. Next one is DVD. Short of digital versatile disc or a digital video disc, a DVD is a disc capable of storing a significant amount of more data than the standard compact disc. DVDs are widely used for storing and viewing movies and other data. The picture of the Matrix DVD movie disc is an example of DVD movie. Means that utilizes both of these discs were sold in 1997. Alternatively referred to as floppy or floppy disk. A floppy diskette is a type of storage media capable of storing electronic data like computer file. The floppy diskette was first created in 1967 by IBM as an alternative to buying that hard drives, which were extremely expensive at that time. This picture shows 3.5 floppy diskette, which was one of the most commonly used floppy diskettes capable of storing 1.44 MB of data. A tape is magnetically thin coated piece of plastic wrapped around wheels of capable of storing data, and tape is less expensive than other storage mediums. Therefore, it is a much slower solution because it is sequential access and is often used for backing up of large amounts of data. Today, tape has most abundant for faster and more reliable solutions like disk drivers, hard drivers, and flash drivers, etc. This is relating to the several peripherals and augmented futures and relating to this integrating MS with changing organizational goals that will be taking care in the next session and along with control and security issues. And up to now, from the past 1 hour 25 minutes, I am speaking and anybody's having any queries, any questions, anything to be revised it and anything you want to give your suggestions, you can ask and you can speak and any queries, any questions, respected sir and madam sir.
No, sir.
Okay, Andy. And tomorrow we'll be having some small PowerPoint presentation also, Andy. And last unit also will be completing tomorrow and reviewing of all 5 units, Andy. And before you are writing the examination, 5 important questions will be given, Andy. And some notes also will be submitted in the group. And our university material daily requesting 5-10 minutes you have to revise it, Andy. Each unit in a systematic planning of timetable for covering of all the units, Andy. And for today, we are concluding. Thank you very much, respected Sasan madam.
Sir,
Thank you.
I have a small doubt.
Yes,
Sir,
Amma. Yes, Amma.
Sir,
Yes,
I have a
madam.
small doubt. ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఉంది సార్ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో స్టేటింగ్ వై ఎంఐఎస్ has been described as a pyramidal structure అంటే ఏం రాయాలి సార్ దానికి?
Yes, Amma. Why this is having
why has MIS been described as a pyramidal structure అని చెప్పి ఉంది?
Yes, Amma. For that only I am giving the answer. Why management information system is having pyramidal structure means in any organization, whether it is an educational institution or a company or in that one, we will be having some hierarchical way of approaching the concept or procedure. For example, I am taking one educational institution. In that one, total number of students, faculty, and the non-teaching staff, and some parents who are coming to the college regularly. For all those data, I have to prepare a MIS report. In that MIS report, for preparation of those data, will be approaching some hierarchical systematic way, and that systematical way of representing will be done in MIS with pyramidal form. And this pyramidal form of diagram or graphical representation is having some vital importance in hierarchical way, step by step, one step, next second step, third step, like that in a systematic, procedural, linear, and a straight line way of representing can be done only through some project or some organization oriented work. And related to that also, in MIS also, we are making representation through our pyramidal form. And one more thing, if you take in yoga or some any mental relief in a psychological way, there is one training known as a pyramidal way of giving training. Means that is having some significant emblem or significant recognition related to that. These systematical or hierarchical way of representing data is applicable and implementing for our MIS also.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, and thank you, madam.
Sir.
Yes, and yes, sir.
Sir, this is our 5th class. So 3 more classes are there.
Yes, sir. According to timetable, 17th is last date, and but 2 classes have not taken. If
Yes,
authorities are giving flexibility to take classes, means that can be continued, and but decision is university authorities.
okay, sir.
But as far as syllabus is coming, only one unit with a small 5% is left over, and that tomorrow we are completing, and tomorrow we are revising all 5 units, and some PowerPoint presentation also we are going to complete it, and some important questions also we are going to discuss, and any queries, any questions in all 5 units we can be able to discuss in an interactive session.
So tomorrow you are going to finish all syllabus, right, sir?
Yes, sir, that is true. And according to university timetable also, tomorrow is the last class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Andy. We are concluding for today, Andy. Thank you very much.
Students, hello? Venkateshwarlu? Venkateshwarlu is there? Maunika?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your Fatima also is there? Yes. Yeah. Is there anything?
No, sir. Nothing. My side, nothing, sir.
Okay. Maunika, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to ask?
No, sir. Nothing, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And
Thank
Fatima?
you, sir.
Okay. Fatima? I think Fatima is not there. Okay, we are concluding. Leaving it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Venkateshwarlu?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Venkateshwarlu, and I think day after tomorrow, the next spell is going to start now. So,
Yes,
first
sir.
spell is addressed by Dr. Anand, Professor Anand Pawar. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Inform your all the colleagues, and they have to be attended at that time. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sure,
Head
sir.
of the department, and
Yes, sir.
that day everyone has to be there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And,
Sure, sir.
inform within your group. I think you may have another group, right? So within that,
Yes, sir. I will inform.
okay. Yeah, inform
Okay.
that first class and everyone should be there. Okay. And
Okay,
the
sir. Okay.
conversation will be great, And I told them
Okay.
to present in another manner also, like PPT and also.
Sure,
And
sir.
interact with it. Yeah, inform me, my friends. Okay, thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.